All right, this is Cliff in the doorway too, hanging out with a member of Tomb. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with the band?
Sure. Uh, my name is, I go by the name of No One.
Yep.
I am basically the orchestrator and creator of the project. Uh, this came about probably back in about 98, started the project. Something a little bit different kind of approach when it comes to black metal. Very much inspired and dedicated to that old school, second wave Norwegian 90s feel. And instead of I guess following that type of path, even though we were very inspired by it, we wanted to do something that concentrated more on the black end of things than actually the metal end of things. So, started the project just basically going out in the cemeteries, doing field recordings, banging on crypt doors as drums, and using like tombstones as like noiseescapes, like things like that. And then the project basically started just growing from there in different kind of like aspects. Different members were brought in. One of the members early on, a guy called Zimmerman, big into power electronics. Also had a background when it comes to magic philosophy, things like that. And he's a pivotal part of the growth of the project, I feel. Then we had brought in another person. Her name is Samantha Viola. She has a long history of having different musicians in her family, whether that's opera or orchestra related. And when we brought Samantha in, we were really interested in her thoughts and views when it came to black metal, and also like in terms of black magic. We had no idea she was that good when it came to music. Extremely talented. So that addition was another growth within the project. And also the other member that we have is a guy named Tyler. Tyler is another person that is extremely talented when it comes to music, especially from a guitar standpoint. And he also does a lot of different things. His main job is to go out and do sound for different concerts, different maybe plays, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of like a brief history.
Cool.
Of like us and the members, things like that. So
nice. So I'm going to kind of start off where I did, and that'll be 2013 is when I first heard you guys, and that's going to be the Third Wave Holocaust record.
okay.
So I kind of want to start there and kind of ask you backwards, like, because I've not heard much before that. How different is the band pre Third Wave Holocaust to post Third Wave Holocaust?
Well, right. It was intentional because when I started the project, I in the past before that, I've basically been a vocalist. I decided to create this project just on my own. I'm definitely not a musician, things like that, but I do. I feel that I do have a good connection when it comes to creating like atmospheres and things like that. So in the beginning, that was like my main source of things, creating different atmospheres, but literally doing them. So literally taking them from places that and environments that technically aren't really that good, for certain personal energies. So, and I incorporated at that time, different things, bringing in different drum machines, I also, in the beginning, brought in certain friends. So, those friends consisted of members of, death metal bands that were around the
Sure.
Philadelphia area that, I was close to. So, members of Agoraphobia, members of Deteriorate, members of Necrosion. I would just basically bring to my house and we would create these things. And so I was taking elements of black metal that I couldn't do, just bringing in different members, making it really spontaneous and energy wise, and then combining that with more of like field recording type of things. But Third Wave Holocaust was basically the end of the second phase of this project experiment. So the second phase was basically taking certain elements of what I'd call the first phase, Black Crypt Worship, Sacrilegium, and even, I would say the Macabre Noise Rael releases. Second phase, that was more Penhurst, UAG, Richmond Curse, Nameless Spells and Incantations. They were all very ritual, extremely dark. But Third Wave Holocaust was the phase that now has led into releases such as, Thin the Veil, and obviously Fury Nocturnus, and now this release of Terrorwinds. So now we're in that third phase of things that basically has come from Third Wave Holocaust.
Cool. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the musical styles, because I think one of the reasons I'm drawn to the band is simply because of the three distinct sounds that I hear, which are black metal, industrial, and just my love, because I play it as well, like harsh power electronics, harsh noise, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got a band called The Slumbering. We're signed to Aesthetic Death over in the UK, and like it's just me doing like doomy power electronics. That's the best way I can explain it. But there's a couple of bands in particular that like come to mind when I start listening to Third Wave Forward. And I'm going to kind of talk about each one in the stylistic way that so we can kind of have that conversation. So in black metal, you kind of give me like bestial warlust elements now, like that really kind of primitive, ugly black metal where I love that kind of guitar take of it. And then like Inquisition and things like that, where they add melodies, but it's a harsh melody to it. And I kind of wanted to ask because from what I've heard forward of the band, the black metal kind of is doomier, noisier than what I would say is traditional black metal guitar tones and sounds. Is that something that you're going for? Or is that just something that naturally progressed to where when I started listening to the band?
I think at this point, yeah, this is a progression that, I guess, put it this way. When the project started, again, I'm not a musician. I can't play guitar. That's why I would bring different people in. And as I said, when I brought people in, it was a situation where you would come into my studio, I would have things recorded. You didn't have time to, and I really didn't let you do that. You just came in, you had to go by energy and feel, and whatever happened. Where we're at right now with this last phase of things is that those type of things from a black metal style that has always been inspiring to us, like each and every person. This was the time, I guess, to really start now taking, a more of a metal approach, keeping the black end of things on like within it, but really start bringing out those type of influences and ideas that maybe we couldn't have done in the past.
Cool.
And by doing that, it's really opened us up to not only creating more things that we probably had ideas about doing in the past that we just weren't able to conduct into this newer type of style it's extremely aggressive. it definitely has those elements, as you mentioned, like a bestial warlust, inquisition. I can understand that, but it also is bringing out some really primitive type of energies related to black metal that yeah, we're definitely happy with at this point, and we really want to have the opportunity now to come with this new release and get to play some shows. So
Cool. Awesome. So the next part of it is going to kind of tie those other two sounds, that industrial and kind of harsh noise element. Uh, so there's three bands in particular I kind of want to talk about and see if they inspired you at all. Because the first one I'm going to talk about, if they didn't inspire you, I'm shocked. But hey, you know what? You know, it's what I hear, not what you hear. But the first one's Swans. I literally like feel like, as far as an industrial band, if they were black metal, Tomb and Swans would be a sister band, like that you guys would be able to play together.
And you said Swans, correct?
Swans, yeah. And then the other two, and then the other two bands I want to kind of talk about is Vond and Valfor. I don't know if you know either one of those bands as well. I kind of feel like you remind me of the old spirit of the old days of like Cold Meat Industry and Cold Springs, where it was power electronics, but it was like dark, harsh industrial mixed with power electronics. And like that's kind of the side that I love. And then I would probably say, like, to sum it all up, Bastard Noise is another band that I kind of get a vibe from when I listen to you guys, because they do a fine line of bringing like hardcore metal into noise, where you bring black metal into noise. So if you can kind of talk a little bit about that kind of way, let me know if there are influences at all. If not, tell me what were you influenced.
Well, I think the Swans, I guess, comment or Swans look on things. That's kind of interesting. I wouldn't say that we were, directly inspired by them, but I do want to say that we've been related to them like a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a huge honor. And I guess a small story with Swans was we opened up for Watain back in 2014. And they had played Atlanta, so it was us, Mayhem, and Watain. And we went on the stage, and we did our thing when it came to that time, and I guess the phase that the project was in. And the crowd, I don't think that they were completely prepared for the type of stuff we do. So it was extremely loud. It was over the top, like loud, crushing, felt good. And what I didn't know was that Jarbo from Swans was actually in the audience.
Nice.
And she had posted something saying that, wow, I just saw Tomb. They were almost as loud as Swans. And I was like, wow, that was great. So, Swans, definitely. Unfortunately, the other projects that you mentioned, I'm not really too familiar with them. When it came to the power electronics thing, for us, it was, I think, important to, and at least myself, creating the project, I really didn't know about all these bands. I really, as I said, with Swans, I didn't know about Swans when I was just creating my type of style of what I felt was black metal. To me, again, in the beginning, really being inspired by, second wave black metal, also having a big respect for it in a sense too. I felt it was important, not to kind of duplicate that in a sense. I wanted to have my own style, something that, I thought was, again, more black, opposed to the metal end of things. So I just went with my intuitions, and the things that I, from a personal standpoint, are very connected to. So taking power electronics, whether that's field recordings using contact mics,
Mhm.
and that's been a big thing, and just manipulating that with pedals, stuff like that. And again, different utilizing different methods of percussion, and having opportunities to go into environments, because the environment end of things can be it is extremely important when you're coming to recording, but it also the environment can also reveal a lot of different things. So um, all the all those type of techniques, yeah, we were just trying to I guess, not really pay attention to other bands. There were definitely bands that, we were into,
Mhm.
Null of Tongues. I would want to say, we've been on the same label as them, and have a big respect for them. Obviously, if we could be categorized as anything, and I feel that this is they have elements of power electronics, would be bands like Abrupt.
Okay.
Definitely, from a comparison end of things, that would be definitely one band. Even bands like Hava Hedge,
Sure.
MZ4 or MZ412.
Yeah.
Those type of bands that came from, especially MZ412, coming from like Cold Meat Industries, things like that.
Yep.
Um, uh, that was a label that, uh, again, I was compared to a lot of artists on that label, and the odd thing was, I was so concentrated on black metal, I had no idea
Yeah.
about these different bands, and then I started checking things out. I'm like, wow, it was like, this is pretty cool. So, but another thing is the different members. Zimmerman, from a power electronic standpoint, again, extremely good. He's done certain things on his own, that's got a lot of credibility when it comes to like underground power electronics, underground like harsh noise. So it's been great to work with him over the years too,
Cool.
because he definitely has a lot of unique techniques, and he's also inspired me to I guess branch out and do
Nice.
other things. So because the project was never intended to be played live.
Sure.
Um, but once MMA came in, we started doing a lot of different basement type of noise shows, really, really dirty, just like everybody, having a good time, but
Yeah.
packed, basements, and really just like blowing out the walls, like
Nice.
really able to have like the ceiling shake, stuff like that, and doing stuff that people were just like, wow, this was different. Like this
Yeah.
was it wasn't normal, and definitely a lot of people they didn't know how to kind of, I think, take it at first in the beginning, but yeah, as time went on, we just got more opportunities to play live, and it was fun. So
Cool. So tying on to that, that's kind of an interesting story. So the first time I ever saw you, I lived in Arizona up until a year ago, and I saw you on the Mortis tour. Um, and that night was a very interesting night because you hit the stage, and I don't think the Mortis fans were ready for Tomb in any way. I was, because I came to see you and Mortis at the same time because I like both styles. But I kind of wanted to ask you. You've been on some interesting tours where I would say you guys are the odd band out, but it's like in a really good way, not a bad way. Uh, how is touring with less extreme bands go for a band like Tomb? Like I on the black metal shows or the harsher shows, I can see the pairing, but like when Mortis is doing more kind of synth pop or like orchestral synth music, and you're playing harsher black noise. How did that tour, an example, go, and other tours where you're playing with more of a diverse audience?
well, we really enjoy having those type of opportunities, and yeah, we're definitely something different, but we also like setting the tone, like setting the stage for things to come. So the last tour that we did with the Mortis was with a lot of the venues were great. We definitely did have we definitely surprised a lot of people. They if they've never seen Tomb or knew about the past things we've done, they wouldn't have had any idea what was to come. But one thing that I've always had a great respect for Mortis, everything that he's done. I want to say that maybe in the past it was like, wow, it really at one point would like to do some tours with him, and then we got the opportunity to do that tour. So I thought that bill was great, and I wish that I hope that's something in the future we can do something together, because he does, he does bring in a certain power electronics type of feel when it comes to his style of Dungeon Sith, and him being kind of the creator of of that kind of genre. I feel that he still has. I'm looking forward to newer stuff from him. Let's put it that way. Again, that tour was really good. Another tour that we did was, back in 2016. I had the opportunity to do a tour with Watain, and that also was a great experience, really unique. Eric is a excellent guy, and just being able to set the tone for that particular set of shows, which was five. I should did like five with them on the East Coast. Setting the tone for Destroyer 666 and Watain. Again, that's what we like. It's Watain. They obviously people know they definitely have a very particular type of style. You are not going to forget that. And I would think that when we start tonight, we want to set the flame for that intensity, the what's to follow. And if it's a situation where people are kind of put back and a little bit shocked, maybe a little bit quiet after we're done, that's kind of good.
Nice. Yeah.
They've been great tours. We've done different festivals in in Europe, particularly Germany in the past too. Again, with the new album, Terror Winds, everything that I guess the successes from those tours that we did, we're really looking to build from that now with the new material, and seeing people's now response to what we're about to do. So
cool. So on that kind of statement, live, I've seen you twice, and it's been two different experiences both times. Okay, very different experiences. I feel when I saw you the first time, which was 2017, 2018, like it was a while ago, and then I saw you with Mortis. I feel like the first time you were much more ritualistic, and then the last time I feel like it was more of like an occultism kind of vibe going on, more than just ritual, like just rituals. When you vocalize and perform, it's almost like a preacher on a pulpit. Like it's not so much vocals as it's more of a speech or a story coming out, and I really like that. So I kind of want to ask you, do you feel like you're moving away from the more ritualistic side into a more of an occult vibe, or do you feel like the two are blending together now?
Well, you're definitely right from during that, I guess, phase of things, and how what we would conduct when we did perform live. There was definitely more sonic, I guess, focused, having an effect from a ritualistic standpoint when it came to the power electronic end of things and what we wanted to hit people with. yeah, definitely was that was a strong element within that time. Now, you're always with this project. There's always going to be an extremely strong focus on the occult,
Mhm.
and basically taking things that we follow, we practice and believe in, putting that into the music, because the ritual side of Tomb, those recordings, they were intended for people to really kind of listen to,
Mhm.
particularly maybe during times that they were doing their own type of like rituals. So I mean, I guess to explain that, it would be again, if you're ready to perform something that's from a magic standpoint, and you would like audio for the back of that, to really start connecting. Those type of recordings, they were definitely made for that. Now that we're going more, or as now the project's progressing, and again, this is all intended. Now we're getting to a point where the the occult end of things is definitely backed by strong power electronics, and also very like strong backbone element of that intense old dangerous black metal. Really want to now, because we can do it. That's one thing that COVID did during this transition was, we experimented by ourselves, but then once we got together, we started building things from there. And during Thin the Veil, that's where we had brought in more of a drummer backbone end of
Mhm.
things, opposed to the more ritualistic kind of percussion work that I would be able to do, especially performing live. But those drummers during COVID, they weren't available, and we were able to then bring somebody else in and build, and actually for the first time actually write like with this person. And we're definitely going to be utilizing him more when it does come live,
Mhm.
and definitely probably in the writing end of things. But having him now, uh, and being able to utilize that strength live, that gives us the ability to go back into the first phase of the project, and even the ritualistic phase of the project, and kind of expand from
Mhm.
there. So for me, that opens up different freedoms as well when it comes to my like my vocal performance,
Cool.
because it has been. I can understand how you say or mention that it's like a preacher type of thing. Um, I think from a personal practice standpoint, one of the things we're very connected to occult wise is the necromancy end of
Mhm.
things. And, necromancy combined with maybe certain kind of other practices. Um, it's something that those experiences I really do want to be able to express from a live standpoint too. So different lyrics and things like that do come from different experiences when dealing with that type of practice, how we deal with it. And yeah, it's it's something that is always going to be part of what we're doing, and something that will be even more focused on as we progress and play live. So
Cool. So I want to kind of move forward with the records now and kind of talk a little bit about the last couple. So I was very shocked, and I don't know if it was in a pleasant way or a shocked way, that Peaceville signed you, because Peaceville is kind of a label that very stuck in their ways. They did a certain kind of black metal, a certain kind of doom metal, and kind of just stayed there and kind of never really went crazy except for one band. Um, and then like I saw you get signed, and I think to me, that may be your most powerful record that I've heard. And I kind of just wanted to ask how that whole experience came about, and why only one record with them, and then moving forward to Dark Essence.
Well, with that particular album, Fury Nocturnus, it was great to work with Peaceville for that. Paul from Peaceville is an excellent guy.
Yeah.
Just a great label altogether. As I mentioned before, when getting that opportunity to be on Peaceville, it was if you can relate to us from a abruptum standpoint.
Yeah.
It was I could see the comparisons of that. We did just agree to just one album, and I think that album, that was an album that came out of Third Wave Holocaust. So that was the beginning transition of things for this final phase of the project. So it was an honor to, have something that the style that we do, like on that label. And I think when it first came out, it was another example of, people listening to it, maybe not understanding it fully. I think one thing that kind of just maybe going forward real quick, but one thing that Terror Winds is going to do, I think is going to maybe force people to go back and actually find different things that they might not have knew that the project has done in the past. And with that Peaceville release, again, that was the beginning end of things that came from that second phase.
Cool.
So going into, I guess, like after that, now we're with Dark Essence out of Bergen, Norway. Again, another great label. They lot of respect for all the bands that are especially TOC. And we've worked with them for the last couple releases, and everything's been fine with them. We really enjoy that. So
awesome. So what I was going to say was the last two records, Thin the Veil and Terror Winds, have a very common theme to me, and I feel like they're almost sister albums in a way, where with Fury you kind of gave me that new sound, and then with each record forward you've refined that sound to where if I called you a black noise band, people would understand what I mean now. Where I think the earlier albums had a lot of other elements in the mix, but I think you focused your sound to what it is now. And the last two records, though I think Terror Winds is a little more experimental, if I can say that, but I feel like if you play them back to back, you can hear the progression of that style now. So I kind of wanted to ask you, between Thin the Veil and Terror Winds, what do you think that cohesive unit is where it sounds like two records that should be played together?
And again, well, I mean, they're definitely, each kind of release does kind of weave into the next. So Terror Winds was almost a natural thing of coming out of Thin the Veil, because again, the idea behind Thin the Veil was to thin down certain things that we haven't been able to maybe achieve in the past. So bringing in additional kind of collaborative musicians, Hellhammer, also Andy Wins from the band Oceans. both obviously Norwegian, and having their kind of take and energy on things. It again, it thinned down a lot of different like barriers that maybe we weren't focused on or weren't maybe able to achieve in previous kind of like releases. And after we accomplished what we did with Thin the Veil, again, the COVID thing, being in isolation, that was it was definitely like a good thing where we could now pass through that veil part of things and really bring in like even evolve more when it comes to the I guess percussion end of things, and the guitar and the different more musical metal end of things, but still having that background and backbone noise like aspect. We might not have gone total black noise on Terror Winds from a power electronic standpoint. We chose to concentrate more on the, I guess, the dark ambient end of things when it came to power electronics. So Zimmerman, what he did, he definitely changed different techniques, especially from a synthesizer standpoint. But when it came to the field recordings, we also kept traditional from first kind of releases, using like a hand sickle that was hooked up to a contact mic and basically going against the tombstone and going with the flow of like all the songs. We felt that was very important to do, and I think within the release, it definitely added a unique element and brought out. I think it really helped bring out the feel of second wave like black metal in that respect.
Cool. So I guess the next thing I'm going to kind of ask is, I feel like your artwork and your kind of thematic elements play a major role in Tomb, and I kind of want to know, is it very very thought out, the artwork that you use for each record, or is it kind of more just whatever vibe the music is giving you at that time?
No, you're right in the regards that the artwork and the music, both are really important. I personally, I think just like yourself too. Maybe if you've never heard of a band or anything like that, but you see that artwork,
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, okay, but I have to check this out now. With every kind of release we've done, and we've utilized a lot of great artists. Someone that's done a lot of our art in the past has been individuals like John Lichko from actually Necrosion. Worked with him a lot on different artwork. Also Joseph Kuhn, who during the ritual phase of the project, he did take on the role of vocals for several shows, just because I was concentrating more on power electronic end of things. But he's a great artist, and him actually being involved in certain field recordings at times where we would go to abandoned and insane asylums, things like that.
Sure.
Well, he actually was there, and he so his vision of putting the artwork together for different releases like Panhurst, Third Wave Holocaust. It was great to have him. We've worked with Eric from Watain. He did the artwork for Fury Nocturnus, and it was great to have his take on like the material and put it in his own type of vision. That was fantastic. And after third Third Wave Holocaust was also Joe, but then Thin the Veil, we also used Joseph Killen again. And with the newest one, with Terror Winds, we worked with the Mexican artist Nestor, and his vision. Working with him, it's going to be hard to not work with him again. He really grasped the whole idea of what we were trying to portray within the artwork, and he just nailed it. Yeah, it's been it's good and important to have the right, I guess, person for each release.
Sure.
When it comes to the artwork, and as I said, I personally, again, I like seeing something and being like, oh wow, I have to check this out. All the artists that ever done anything for T.O.M.B, they've definitely been able to accomplish that type of thing with our releases. So
cool. So if I was to ask you, let's say somebody's going to listen to T.O.M.B for the very first time, how would you describe the band to them right before they listen to it?
Well, you be open-minded. If you want to go into something that is legitimately dark, intended to have that effect on you, especially doesn't matter what phase what kind of album you go after. You're always going to have something different. It's going to be dark. It's not it's just not something that it has that commercialism to it. It doesn't. But if you really do allow yourself to just get into it and get absorbed by it, it's gonna open up different things that you probably never really realized existed when it comes to dark music and that like expression of it. I guess you just be open-minded.
Cool. No, that's awesome.
Don't be afraid of the effects. I know there's been times, and this might sound funny, but I've had different people be like, "Man, I can't listen to your stuff while I'm driving. Like, it messes me up." Or we've gotten people have mailed us stuff back saying that, "Hey, listen, listen, I bought your stuff and bad things started happening, and I can't have this, and I'm going to send this back to you."
Wow.
It's like, wow. It's like, okay. I can understand that. But please be open-minded to things. That's pretty much all I can say.
Cool. Is there anybody that you've not collaborated with that you'd like to?
Wow. See, the funny thing with that is that I guess I never kind of know who I'm gonna collaborate with. I know there's going to be, I have certain plans for this year. Let's just say, I'll be heading over to Norway to do some things, and I'd be curious to see what transpires from that. Because I won't know what kind of different environments I'll be in, like at that time, and different people that I'll meet. Wow. I guess if there's somebody I would really want to, and I know that we could probably do some very interesting things with, would probably be Attila.
Okay.
I would definitely say Attila. I would love to incorporate different things that he does from a Void of Voices standpoint, and bring in certain elements from a like a T.O.M.B standpoint.
Nice.
And just to see what how that would what the results would be from that. that would, yeah, he would definitely be someone I would like to work with. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
though, because it not only is it black metal, but power electronics.
Mhm.
You know, your harsh wall noise. I mean, there's just so many different artists that you know that I'm intrigued by, that I'll go out and see. Um, but yeah, it's. I guess Attila would be the one, because there's just so many. I
That's cool.
just think that's a good question. I was kind of like thrown back by that question.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, vocally, I think you and Attila would be very interesting, especially if he did more of the kind of like Arboreum period stuff that he did. I think that would be, because he loves the electronics like you guys too. So
Yeah,
I think that'd
yeah.
be super interesting. So
Even
no,
stuff that he did with like the Lord
yeah,
just recently. I mean, wow, like
yeah,
he just does like a lot of like, unique things. We've
yeah.
talked about electronics in the past, and back in 2009, like Mayhem had played the Fillmore,
Okay,
and I was actually went on stage with Attila, and we did Death Crush,
nice.
and yeah, that was fun to do. So yeah, doing something with him, I would, I think it would be just a very unique experience that people, if it was done live, they definitely wouldn't forget. So
Cool. So I'm gonna wrap it up here and kind of give you the pulpit to be able to kind of talk about what the next couple of months, the rest of the year has to go with you, the band, anything. Kind of just tell us what's happening.
okay, well, we definitely we're definitely in a stage right now where we want to play some more shows. So that's kind of like the main focus for the remainder of the year. Aside that, we'll be working on new material, because now that we're completed with the with this album, now we know that we can take these techniques and expand them even further. So those type of recordings will be happening. As I mentioned, I'll be looking forward to my trip to Norway and doing things over there this year. I'm hoping to, probably do some additional traveling, maybe see some festivals, like a Beyond the Gates type of thing.
Nice.
So those type of things are happening. And other than that, I really do appreciate you give me an opportunity to come on your show. Again, this isn't something that we usually do.
Yeah.
It's definitely a first. But I'd like to thank also just everybody that has just taken interest in what we do and supported us for a very long time right now. And I'm looking forward to sharing some more things with you in the future at this point. So
Very cool. And no, you're more than welcome, man. Like, I only interview bands that I find appealing. So like that's why I wanted to do this. So I appreciate that greatly. You've made 4 records now that each one has impressed me more. I can't wait to hear more. If you play live in 2023, and you're within 100 miles of me, I'm sure I'll come see you.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
And
But
again, I'd really encourage you, because I appreciate, I appreciate your interest in what we do. And, again, man, it's gratifying to know that, it has a like certain effect, and you do enjoy it. And all I can say is, again, I hope those 4 albums, you or anybody, will make you even go back more into previous releases, because especially if you're looking for dark, you will find it there.
Awesome.
Might not like it, but you'll find it.
Nah, cool. Again, speaking with no one from T.O.M.B, this is Clint from the Doorway too. I just want to say thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure, and you have a good weekend.
You as well, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you, man.